Hey guys, welcome back again to Persona 4 Arena Ultimax. When we last left off, we finally finished off with Mitsuru Kirijo, which kind of gave us a little bit more of her insight towards a little bit more of the Kirijo group and what exactly Mitsuru's been doing. We kind of know a little bit more of an insight towards the police side, what Mitsuru tries to intend, which is basically trying to, I guess, get out of the situation that she's in terms of her family's past. Obviously, by basically turning everything in from everything related to the Kirijo group with its experiments, and basically just trying to clear the name out. And yeah, and not only that, we kind of discovered that they had in mind that if Labris had a heart in the end, like obviously we kind of witnessed out of literally every single story we've seen so far, that Mitsuru had in itself in mind that basically she was going to save Labris without a doubt. So it's kind of a little bit, a little nicer touch there. Kind of a little bit aside that I guess it kind of makes her what Mitsuru has been like always, even from Persona 3. So it's kind of like a glad sense that she's at least thoughtful, that kind of stuff. But now today we are going to go through Aige's story, and then we'll finish off with Elizabeth, which that would conclude our prologue. Finally, look like it's taking ages to do this, but we still have a whole lot more to go through. But anyways, so without further ado, let's get right into Aige. So yeah, let's go right into it.
Are you awake?
I'm sorry. I had turned off my consciousness to test the new equipment installed on me.
Yes, that's why we use the emergency channel. We've been asked to go into action.
Has something happened? Who sent the request?
We'll brief you on the details in transit. Also, regulations say that the member with the lowest serial number is in command. Currently, that's you.
Ah, interesting. Okay.
I'm in command? Are you sure about this? After all,
You're well suited for it, in my opinion.
Understood.
Alright. Interesting.
May 1st, 2012, 9:30. Men equipped with assault suits and tactical vests line the concrete ground. Their unbanned camouflage and unmoving poses give them the appearance of an orderly line of rocks. 30 minutes have passed since the special assault team took up their positions on the landing strip surrounding the stopped passenger plane. Their captain glares at the plane before he slowly turns around and looks at each of his men. Every last one wears ski masks and thick tactical visors to mask their identities, but he knows them nonetheless.
Tell me about the situation and make it quick. We don't have much time.
One of the team members steps forward. The touchscreen tablet in his right hand has a summary of the case on it. On May 1st, 2012, around 900 hours. Oh, it's 0900. Oh, it's 900 hours. A wide-body passenger aircraft headed for Kagoshima sent out a 7,500 squad code during passenger boarding. Following the signal, the captain reported to the control tower that the aircraft had been hijacked. Since the uprising occurred during passenger boarding, only half of the passengers, 168 exactly, had boarded. The 10 crew members brings a total of 178 hostages thought to be on board. Some passengers seated near the hatch had succeeded in escaping. The following points were gained from questioning them. Take care not to be seen by the hijackers. There are 3 hijackers. All of them are covering their faces with ski masks. All of them are armed with what seemed to be pistols. From their voices and builds, there appeared to be males. They all spoke fluent Japanese. Currently, the aircraft in question has moved to be front of the landing strip at the hijackers in sentence and is stopped there. The authorities have attempted to negotiate with the hijackers by radio, but they have made no demands. The team member finished his report. The captain nods silently and addresses his
There
team.
hasn't been a plane hijacked in this country in over 10 years. None of us, not even me, have dealt with this before.
So yeah, I'm giving her the voice after Persona 3. So she's kind of have a little bit more human, but she's still the robot that she is. So Persona 3 would be more robotic. So
Still, the procedure remains the same. Trust yourself, remember your training, and keep a cool head.
The captain turns towards the plane again. Taking that as a cue, the team squatters to their specific posts to take up positions. The only thing to do now is to see what happens. Eventually, 10 a.m. comes around. Half an hour has passed with no new developments. Repeated attempts to contact the hijackers have been made, but they have yet to make any demands. Tensions are beginning to rise. The worst case scenario is that they have no need to make demands, that their objective is to seize the passenger's plane itself. In this case, the team would be facing a large-scale terrorist attack.
Come on, talk to us.
yeah, but this is kind of like Aiga's side, so they kind of like worked her like on the sidelines along with the police. Is that what's happening? Because I don't know, because we kind of know this story from Naruto. Mitsuru had kind of mentioned it, but I think, you know, if you already played Naruto, you already kind of got the gist of it, of what happened in this situation. But I guess from Aiga's side, we get to see from the outside part, like not the interior of the plane, but more like the outside part along with the police. So I'm pretty sure that would be the case. At a part, they seem to have enlisted a sort of like authority for Aigas to control her team by the looks of it.
The captain mutters to himself, deep in thought. From the perspective of rescuing the hostages, every second that passes without learning the hijacker's objective is a second wasted. The captain and his team can wait in hiding, but the same is not true for the passengers on board. For untrained civilians, extreme stress can easily lead to physical and mental problems. It's true not only for the hostages, but for the hijackers as well. When people lose their nerve, they tend to act rashly. The hostages will begin to lose hope, and the hijackers will begin taking it out on the hostages. At an hour into the incident, anything could be happening inside the plane. The captain could do nothing but glare as the time ticked by. After 50 more minutes had passed, a slight change in the situation was reported. All emails and calls going through the station near the airport are being checked, but at the moment no messages are thought to have been sent from inside the plane. It appeared that the hijackers had confiscated all cellular phones as per standard hijacking plans, but...
Sir, there's a report from HQ. They picked up a transmission from one of the passenger's cell phones. It's a smartphone with GPS, so they can tell it's inside the plane.
Confirm those details for me.
There are two possibilities. The hijackers are using a passenger's phone to contact associates outside, or a passenger is contacting someone in secret. The latter possibility is more likely. More and more devices have communication capabilities now, making it extremely difficult for hijackers to remove them entirely from play. And the more hostages there are involved, the more courageous they become, and the more likely they are to take risks. Unfortunately, more hostages involved means it all the more dangerous to provoke the hijackers. Each individual hostage is worthless to them. The details of the transmission make it apparent that the situation is worse than the team had assumed. The cell phone's owner is a man in his 60s in first class. He signed up for a certain service after being diagnosed with a heart illness. It's a remote EKG.
I think of that. EKG? EKG?
EKG monitoring service that keeps track of the patient's heartbeat. A scheduled message was automatically sent from the patient's cell phone. The service provider promptly contacted the police, informing them that the man was in bad
His
shape.
life is at stake if we don't wrap this up within the hour. Looks like we can't stall for time.
As panic spreads, a proposal for negotiation based on this fact and a proposal to storm the plane are both considered. But because only half the passengers had boarded, the situation inside the plane is uncertain, making devising a tactical plan difficult. Though if nothing is done, a passenger will surely succumb within the hour. A blunder like that must be avoided at all cost. That was the thinking that guided the police officials to make their decision. That same day at 10:30 a.m.
What? Withdraw? This is a hijacking! What are you thinking withdrawing our people? Yes, I understand.
Wait, what's going on?
Orders are orders. We'll fall back at once. Get ready.
No one understood the sudden withdrawal order. Why withdraw the team during a hijack? No one on the scene agreed with the decision, but the order could not be overturned. The men here are not the brain, but limbs whose power is best to put in use by precisely following orders. Just then, another group approaches without a sound. Its members are dressed differently, in suits and trench coats, but all of them are wearing black and sunglasses. At a glance, it is clear that they are tall, well-built, and used to rough situations. With early 20 of them gathered in one place, they are imposing despite their silence. They don't seem to be airport personnel, but neither are they known to the police. But the captain senses they are in the same line of work and approaches. His voice is laced with suspicion, but the man at the head of the group speaks dispassionately as if it heard
For the next
nothing.
half hour, we're in command of this scene.
You didn't answer the question. Who's responsible for this?
The captain's tone unconsciously hardens. The group of men in black parts and no one of the number in the rear steps forth.
Men in black, okay. Special people are here.
The captain can't stop himself from furrowing his brow. He can already sense the unrest spreading amongst his team, who watches in silence. The one stepping forward looks like a 17 or 18-year-old girl. She's dressed in black and wears sunglasses like those around her, but her slender build is out of place. Her blonde hair stands out even more in contrast to her all-black outfit. The girl walks a few more steps forward and removes her sunglasses.
This is Igus. So this is the person we're not talking about? Was I talking about... I wish I had a cue sound to know who was talking, but because this is Igus side, I'm gonna continue talking like if it was Igus. Like in third, like it was Mitsuru, like I done with Mitsuru.
The captain had intended the appraised the look in her eyes, but only could gasp in the face of her crystalline blue. He quickly regains himself some
So
frowns.
you're the one in charge?
That surely is.
Yes,
Are you shitting me?
there is no time to waste quarreling.
The girl looks at him fearlessly, despite the armed team surrounding her. The absurdity of it all is what helps the captain get over his surprise. Her age and appearance are most likely meaningless. She's clearly no ordinary
Are
girl.
you not even gonna tell me who you're with?
I cannot.
So you expect me to hand over control of the scene to you without even telling me who the hell you are?
I believe orders to withdraw have already been issued.
Her calm, sweet voice only irritates him. The captain closes the distance to the girl, and while he stops short of grabbing her suit, he glares into those blue eyes from only inches away.
I don't know what kind of juice you have with the brass, but are you ready to be responsible for the deaths of those passengers?
Your protests are doing nothing to relieve the danger. Rescuing them as soon as possible is my, or rather, our duty.
Damn, what's that?
The girl is completely unruffled as she speaks. It's like she's a machine or something. The captain thinks, more dumbfounded than angry.
Have faith in us. We too wish to save them.
For the first time, something like determination flickers within those crystalline eyes. After looking into them, the captain finds something akin to resolve and confidence in them. He steps back. Raising his right hand to his chest, he shows the girl his watch.
But you got exactly 30 minutes and not a second more.
Understood.
After the girl nods, she gives instructions to prepare a stair car to the group she is leading. The captain's first tightens nervously. Since there are few uses for a stair car, quietly moving it in place may make the hijackers think that a strike team is getting ready to storm the plane. But there is no hesitation in the girl's actions.
Well then, move in as naturally as possible while staying in their blind spots.
Eventually, a roofless stair car advances slowly towards the passenger plane.
Closest we can get without them noticing will be about 10 meters from the plane.
That will be more than enough.
More than enough? What's the point of half-assing it like that? The captain's annoyance begins to turn to curiosity. If she is replacing the SAT, then she must have a plan beyond simple brute force, but
Now, let's begin.
the stair car stops. The girl gets out of the driver's seat. She walks slightly behind the vehicle, turns towards the passenger plane, and squats down.
What's she doing?
The captain brings up a pair of binoculars to see what she will do. At first, he assumes she is going to use the stair car's movement as a decoy and send her team in from a different direction. Like humans, most vehicles have significant blind spots above and underneath. Yet that doesn't seem to be her plan. Does she plan to make her move while using the stair car as cover? Is she possibly going to snipe them? The captain discards the possibility. It would be foolish to set up a sniper perch at a lower angle of elevation, where the girl is now. While the captain mulls over the question, the girl makes an unexpected move. She appears to lower her stance slightly one moment, and in the next she is no longer in sight. By the time the captain realizes she is running, she was already reached the top of the stair car. Her slender body launches like a cannonball from the top of the stairs.
What? She jumped?
Yep. They don't know she's a robot. That's how special she is.
Even the SAT members voice their surprise. The girl's leap arcs a distance of over 10 meters. It's clearly beyond the abilities of a human being. Coming in the middle of a hijacking, the scene seems even more surreal. The girl lands on top of the aircraft and stands as if nothing unusual had happened. She looks at the aircraft beneath her and slowly turns her head to scan it from back to front. It reminds the captain of the movement of a security camera. He knows it should be impossible, but he wonders if she can see through the plane's ceiling. Eventually, the girl seems convinced of something and begins walking. When she reaches the boarding hatch at the front, she moves her right hand to her back. The captain notices that a special knife coated gray from blade to hilt. It is in her hand.
What's she gonna do with that knife?
The girl suddenly lowers her stance and slides down the side of the aircraft. Just as she's about to fall, she thrusts the knife into the jamb of the hatch and dangles from
This
it.
is crazy.
She then uses her left hand to pull the handle and unlocks the hatch with ease. Once the thick, airtight door juts out of the aircraft, the girl nimbly jumps into the plane. The captain is shocked by her dauntless methods. He begins to wonder if she intends to defuse the situation on her own. The captain lowers the binoculars and faces the reality before him with his own eyes. Who in the world is she? The doubts she had dismissed rise within him again. A warning light goes in the cramped cockpit. Two people there notice it at once. One of them is the captain sitting in the pilot's seat. The other is the man holding a gun to the back of the captain's head. The light is labeled hatched open. Even an amateur could understand what it means.
Kinda weird how to say it with Ige's voice.
The man suddenly tenses and stands ready at the passenger side door. He prepares himself for someone to charge through it. But he quickly regains composure and turns the gun back on the captain. The man casts irritated glances back and forth between the captain and the door for a while, but eventually approaches the door, his gun pointed at the captain. He cautiously cracks open the door and looks towards the passenger seating. Just outside the cockpit is the first class section, but the passengers were gathered in economy class at the time of the hijacking. First class is empty. The man squints. To ward off observation or worse, snipers, the window covers were down. Coming into the darkened plane from the bright cockpit forces his eyes to adjust. But from the corner of his eye, he sees a gleam of light shining in that's unlike the regular ones. And within that light is a silhouette. Before he can react, the silhouetted figure closes the distance. A hand grabs the edge of the door and opens it with tremendous force. Two quick, heavy blows follow. The man collapses without a sound. The captain turns around in surprise to see the intruder, a blonde girl with an index finger to her lips, signaling silence. She first lays the man on the ground and then removes the pistol from his hand. On closer inspection, it is only a model gun, supplemented with metal parts. The seam between the parts is in different places compared to a real gun. If taken apart, the disassembled pieces would look like nothing like a real pistol. The girl then takes handcuffs from a small patch on her waist and fastens the man's arms to a seat leg near the window.
Man, I do apologize if I do feel like it's taking me time to do her voice, which is like a robot but more human, because that's what happened in Persona 3 with Aigis, that because she changed into more of a human-like character, more of a robot. She's still a robot in the end, so she has those type of features, but I'm trying to shift it to robot, so you can definitely tell she's a robot, but also that she, try to speak more fluid human. But it's kind of difficult, to be honest. And a part that I'm trying to make it flow into, instead of that it's boring to read with a voice like that. It feels like I'm bored. This is like that, and it's more more annoying. Yeah, but I'm trying my hard. Even if he makes up, he will be unable to stand. Though the captain still looks as if he wishes to say something,
The girl's eyes met his and insists on silence as she leaves. The curtain dividing first class and economy class is closed. The girl hides herself behind it and peeks through. There is a man in each of the sides on the left and right. Neither seems to have noticed her. The passengers and cabin crew are crammed into seats in the back. Everyone's placement matches the readings of what her heat sensors picked up from above the plane. Both remaining hijackers are close to first class. The man closest to her is only a few steps away. She judges that he can easily be disabled if she moves quickly. They both carry pistols, but they are the same type as the downed hijacker. For what she can see, these two are mere model guns. The girl swiftly pushes aside the curtain and grabs the closer man's right wrist. The hijacker, caught off guard by the sudden appearance of such a slender girl, stops moving for a moment. He surrenders any chance of victory he may have had. With a pained cry, he drops the pistol to the ground. The girl uses her grip on his right hand to put him on the ground, then smoothly pulls out another pair of handcuffs and locks his arms to the passenger seat. The man thrashes about, but despite his struggle, he is no better than a worm writhing on the ground. The last hijacker finally recovers from his shock and aims his gun. The girl pulls a button from the other man's sleeve and flicks it towards her opponent's face. The button travels at immense speed, though it was launched only from her fingers. The man tries to shield his face, but he is too late. He grows in pain when the projectile strikes his forehead. The girl does not let the opportunity pass. She easily jumps over the three seated wide center block of seats with one arm and grabs the man's right hand. There, she repeats the same procedure she used before. Their weapons are immediately seized while they are restrained on the floor. The passengers are only now grasping what's behind before their eyes. A murmuring chorus rises.
Do not be alarmed. I have come to rescue you. Your safety has not been secured yet, so please stay calm and remain in your seats.
The passengers erupt in a cheer. There is sporadic applause as well. But there is slightly hysterical tinge to it, in reaction to the tension of the situation.
Excuse me. We were told someone requires medical assistance for their chronic heart illness. His name is...
Just as the girl approaches the center of the plane, she senses a male passenger stand up from his seat. He's extremely calm and quiet as he does so. The girl blatantly picks up on the incongruity. All of the other passengers are nervous. It is then that she feels something hard pressing up against the back of her head. She knows without looking that it is the muzzle of a gun. The nearby passengers' cries of relief suddenly turn to screams.
I was impressed with your judgment to stay hidden until an opportunity arose.
The girl is
Perturbed
as she continues to look straight ahead. The man stays silent and keeps the pistol pressed to her head. She knows there is no danger of being shot, but she is not yet sure that he was the only one in hiding. Left with no choice, the girl accedes to his demand and moves forward. After about 10 steps, another man stands up as expected.
And you too.
The man doesn't answer. He slowly approaches from the front. The girl is now sandwiched from the front and back. At the moment, footsteps sound from beyond the curtain leading into first class. The two culprits both react at once, but it is too late. Over 10 men in black rush in at once from beyond the curtain. While the girl had drawn the hijacker's attention with scuffle, the stair car had closed in. First they pinned down the man standing in front. The narrow passage gives the man behind her a short reprieve, but it doesn't last long. The moment he lowers the hand gripping the pistol in order to escape, the girl grabs his wrist. So focused was he on the man who burst into the scene that he forgot about the threat the girl opposed. He is immediately tripped and restrained once he falls on his back. The girl stands up and looks around. If there were any more hijackers inside the plane, this would be their last chance to make a stand. But no one rises from their seat. She glances towards the men in black and they nod back in acknowledgement. It seems the crisis has been averted. The girl carefully keeps her thoughts from appearing on her head and gives an inner sigh of relief. Soon afterward, the sweeper team gives a report confirming that the aircraft is secure. The girl works with the cabin crew to arrange transport for the man with the heart illness before he steps out for a moment. She stands on the stair car and turns on a blue designator light, waving it in circles towards the SAT position. It is the signal that the crisis is over. On receiving the signal, the SAT on standby start talking amongst themselves.
It hasn't even been 5 minutes. There should have been at least 3 hijackers.
You know what they remind me of is those guys. Like Men in Black or something.
Captain, who are those people? Is that one even human?
The captain sighs with reluctance.
This is just a rumor. But I've heard that the higher-ups formed an unofficial security group in conjunction with a certain corporation. It's supposedly for cases that are a little strange. I hear they have some official standing with the police, too. Though it's all some private enterprise, so technically, there's no authority involved at all.
What? But this is Japan we're talking about.
A search and destroy unit that answers to no department, keeps no records. I've heard them called shadow operatives.
He turns on his own blue light as a sign of understanding and waves it left and right. The response light comes from up ahead. The girl then sees the captain spreading his arm in a shrug and smiles for the first time. She feels slightly bad for them. Her team may have ashamed them, though they had done nothing wrong. I should apologize to them later. But then, out of the corner of the girl's eyes, near the entrance of the luggage carts at the corner of the building, a figure catches her attention.
A girl?
The girl seems to be about her age and is wearing a plain cape-like dress. For some reason, her appearance feels unsettling. To begin with, given the heightened security, the parking entrance should be strictly sealed. Yet the figure looks like a civilian.
May I check on something?
The girl calls to the SAT captain over the radio. Noticing some slight interference, she looks down to adjust the frequency dial.
If you look towards my left, in front of the luggage loading bay is...
But during the moment she looked away, the figure
He's not
disappeared.
there. That can't be.
The girl looks around, but the figure is nowhere to be seen. Where could she have gone in this open space with nowhere to hide?
What's the matter?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was apparently seeing things.
The girl shuts the radio off. Who was that just now? Was I truly seeing things? With those questions in mind, the girl tries to remember the figure's appearance in detail. Only then does she realize the cause of her unease. That light blue dress the figure wore. It was very similar to one she herself had once. It reminds her of those days when she did not yet have a heart.
Yeah.
The girl puts those thoughts aside and returns to the aircraft. The mission does not end with taking the culprits into custody. In truth, along with defusing the situation, securing the safety of one particular passenger was her highest priority. The fact was not revealed to the SAT. The passenger was originally seated in first class, but would have been forced to move. The girl looks carefully through the restless passengers. It is not long before she finds the face she seeks. Looking relieved, the girl walks towards the passenger in question.
Are you all right, Mitsuru-san?
I guess. I didn't think you'd be the one to come.
Well, you look at that.
The woman who answered has long, shining hair that would make an impression on anyone. Even sitting quietly in her seat, her refined appearance makes her stand out. But Aigis knows the woman well.
In fact, I was surprised to be called on to deal with something like this. The suspects made no demands. What were they after? At first, I thought I was summoned because you were their target, Mitsuru-san.
The higher-ups must have thought the same thing and panicked. Especially considering there's cargo on that plane they wouldn't want made public. Wait a second, that cargo...
Is something wrong?
This hijack seems strange now that I think about it. They made their move before takeoff, which is odd timing. And they forced the boarding announcement to be stopped. I thought maybe it was their way of trying to pull it off with a small team.
Are you saying that rather than a passenger, they were after that cargo? It's true that no one would consider the unloaded luggage during a hijacking.
I guess I need you to check on my things. Though if I'm right, it's already too late.
In response, Aigis instructs her team via radio to secure all luggage transport routes. Moreover, she requests a search to ensure that no cargo has been
Even
taken.
if you're right, why would they be interested in your belongings?
My usual cargo wouldn't be worth hijacking a plane over. But I was carrying something sensitive this time. Normally, if they wanted it, they'd have to bypass a Kirijo facility's security or attack the vehicle transporting it. But by doing it this way, they can divert the entire country's attention with a few model guns.
Mitsuru smiles. Aigis can tell that she is impressed with their audacity despite herself.
Mitsuru-san's cargo. Sensitive belongings for a vacation. I understand. Hijacking a plane out of a desperate desire for undergarments. This incident will surely go down in history.
Mitsuru's eyes bulge at the unexpected comment.
You're jumping to conclusions. It's not sensitive in that way. Besides, my underwear is in this bag, and that's it. Enough about underwear.
Aigis. Mitsuru, she's only teasing you.
She forces a cough and steers the conversation back on
More
track.
accurately, my cargo contained items from Ergo Research. My trip to Kagoshima was partly vacation, but also to oversee their transferal to Yakushima.
The official name of Ergo Research is the Kirijo Economics Research Lab. Both Mitsuru and Aigis have many bitter memories associated with the name. A pile hangs in the air. But a radio transmission from one of Aigis' teams cuts the moment short.
Aigis speaking. I see. Understood.
Mitsuru looks at Aigis questioningly and she
It's as
nods.
you suspected. They found that one of the boxes scheduled for transport has gone missing.
I thought as much.
With a small sigh, Mitsuru rises from her
We
seat.
must get it back, I guess. The rest of the team can finish up here. I need you to come with me.
Aigis inspects Mitsuru's face
Will you
carefully.
be joining the search as well?
Well, I am personally involved, so yes.
In other words, you will officially rejoin the unit and participate in this mission. To be more direct, is it accurate to say that you are abandoning your vacation?
Mitsuru sighs with some exhaustion. Aigis interprets her silence as
Then
approval.
I hereby transfer command authority to you, Mitsuru-san. Regulations state that the member with the lowest serial number is to take command. And since you are member number 1, the official leader of the Security Department Shadow Response Unit, also called the Shadow Operatives.
I had a feeling I wouldn't be able to enjoy this vacation for long.
Traveling with cargo from Ergo's research suggests that her vacation was neither relaxing nor
I
cheerful.
can't allow anyone to be hurt again by the things we, the Kirijo group, created. We'll get this cargo back at all costs. Mission or no mission, I'm making it a personal priority.
Understood.
Aigis answers loudly and snaps off the police salute that she's finally gotten the hang of. Are we taking straight towards? I am Aegis. My official name is 7th generation anti-shadow suppression weapon. As my name implies, I am not human. I'm a humanoid weapon, essentially a robot. Though with the right clothes, and a surprising number of people cannot tell the difference. I was created in a research lab owned by one of the world's foremost conglomerates, the Kirijo Group. I was made to exterminate a certain enemy. They are called shadows, monsters born from people's repressed emotions, granted dark life. Shadows can only be defeated by those with the special power of personas. One's persona is said to be the power to wield the shadow within. There are two sides of the same coin. Though one cannot have a persona if they do not also have a heart. I was given a mind to artificially develop a persona and a body close to that of a human, so that my mind could maintain a personality, a heart designed for battle, a body designed for battle. I did endure some suffering because of my original purpose, but I now have a place where I belong, somewhere I can make full, beneficial use of my powers. That is the Security Department Shadow Response Unit. Our nickname is the Shadow Operatives. The Shadow Operatives were formed at Mitsuru Kirijo's directive. She is the scion of my creators, the Kirijo Group, as well as the one of who has been given full responsibility for handling the shadows. Our objective is to identify and resolve incidents involving shadows. We do this by eliminating them. All of our members are persona users or have similar qualifications. During operations, our guidelines state that the member with the smallest number has command. The number that I was issued was number 5. Though I am not human, I am treated as a member and not a piece of equipment. Moreover, my number is in the single digits. It's possible that there will be missions like today where I must take command of dangerous operations. In other words, I am recognized as having the same life and dignity as humans. Because Mitsuru-san and the others have such trust in me, I want to repay that trust with results. There's another reason I am working my hardest on this case. Soon after the hijacking was resolved, the stolen cargo was identified. Its contents surprised me. The 5th generation anti-shadow suppression weapon. The unit name Labris. She is one of my sister units. She was sealed over a decade ago, and she has been in storage with other artifacts ever since. Labris, a humanoid weapon just like mine. Just like me, sorry. It is possible that she has a heart, and if she does, I want to save her before she is misused. This is a mission, yes, but more than that, I feel that it is my duty I must carry out.
Alright. That took a while, actually. Damn. So yeah, I guess it's a little bit more condensed through her part in the beginning. But it's kind of giving more understanding, like, of stuff. And it's still going to be more condensed after here.
The next day, May 2nd, 2012. We wanted to pursue the vehicle carrying Labris as soon as the hijacking was over, but its complicated route made it hard to track. Due to the sensitive nature of the cargo, it is difficult to set up large-scale traffic checkpoints. Fortunately, the license plate number was determined quickly, and we got a rough estimate of its destination. Our headquarters were moved to a police facility. Mitsuru-san and our team are sorting out the situation to plan for an
And the
operation.
interrogation of the suspects?
It's begun, but all of them are claiming that their memories at the time are very foggy, so they've been sent in for evaluation. The psychologists who interviewed them think it's possible they're not lying.
So none of the 5 have any memories of what happened during the hijacking.
Normally that would seem preposterous. There may have been some hypnotic effect, but even then...
We're dealing with someone after materials from Ergo research. They'll likely be very well informed about shadows and the mind. Knowing that, it doesn't seem so strange. It would also explain the extreme lengths they went to create a decoy. What else do we know?
Another team member answers Mitsuru-san's question.
Since the cage storing the 5th generation is too large to transport by personal auto, we narrowed our search to large vehicles that left the airport. That, combined with the testimony from our observer and data from the transmitter, allowed us to pinpoint the vehicle in question. The police are already pursuing it via the N system. This is the most recent photo.
He hands the tablet to Mitsuru-san.
Inaba area. Wasn't this the place where...
Yes, our routine investigation last year rated the potential shadow activity in the area at level 4.
It seems that the culprit in this case had prior knowledge of shadows after all. If that is true, we must use extra caution. Many people do not know about shadows, though they are enough of a threat to possibly destroy the world. Then again, I experienced that for myself 3 years ago. If someone is trying to manipulate them, we must prevent it at all costs.
Let's talk about the stolen 5th generation unit. I guess, as the 7th generation, would be her younger sister.
A sister. My older sister.
I'd like to know why she was sealed.
5th generation anti-shadow suppression weapon, Labris. The records show her to be the first model fitted with an artificial personality.
In other words, she has a heart?
There's no knowing if it was developed enough to call it that. She seems to have been made to gather test data rather than actual field use.
What are her combat capabilities?
She wasn't given firearms, since her regulatory system was inadequate. So she was instead loaded with some kind of special equipment. Unfortunately, the majority of the records pertaining to her are missing, which means that's the extent of our knowledge.
Special equipment.
We also don't know why she was sealed. Many of the documents regarding the old Ergo research were lost, probably to cover up incriminating evidence. We don't even know what she looks like. All we do know is that she was a life-sized android.
We'll just have to find out along the way.
Mitsuru-san swipes her fingers across the tablet a few times and shows it to
I'll need these
an
3
aide.
individuals' cooperations. I'd like to join them in the field.
Are you sure about this?
Try not to make a scene when fetching them. Not all of them are part of our organization.
The aide nods his assent and returns to his station. Mitsuru-san then turns her gaze on me.
Frankly, I think we can assume that there'll be combat involved. Will you be alright with that?
Though Mitsuru-san doesn't say it out loud, I understand what she means. Our highest priority in this operation is to stop the culprit and mitigate any associated danger, not to rescue Labris. Of course, we will strive to accomplish both, but in the worst case scenario, we must consider the option of destroying Labris. Destroying a sister unit, it will be a painful experience if she, too, has a heart.
Thank you for your concern, but I'll be fine. I will do my duty.
Mitsuru-san says nothing more and slightly nods.
Once we can confirm our target is headed to Inaba, we'll depart at once.
And it takes us straight there.
May 3rd, 2012. As we get ready to depart for Inaba, Mitsuru-san and I go over last-minute details inside the police station. Mitsuru-san is absorbed with issuing instructions over the cell phone she is holding. Pessimism seeps into my heart as I wait. I begin muttering myself.
Will we be able to find Labris? My sister?
Mitsuru-san's surprised voice makes me realize how unlike me these doubts are.
Will we be able to save her? Isn't that what you really want to ask? Don't worry. As I mentioned to Akihiko, fighting Labris is not our priority. The reason I formed this shadow operative team is to save lives. We will find her, whatever it takes, and bring her back. We can do this.
Yes. I'm sorry to be so pessimistic.
Those feelings you have for Labris, You should tell her when you see her.
I will.
Friends bound by trust are irreplaceable indeed. I hope that Labras will become one as well. Eventually, the preparations are made of, and our limousine departs on its journey to Inaba. That evening, we are in Inaba now and traveling down a midtown street. Though it is called midtown, it is very different from an urban environment. It is a quiet, rustic road. The vehicle we are targeting is easily discovered. I mean, it's a humongous limousine. I don't know why would you bring that type of vehicle to a very small town. The transmitter that was attached to it when it left from the airport is luckily for us still active. But the vehicle has been abandoned and the cargo is gone as well. To trace it further, we must learn why the culprit came here. Specifically, we need to know the details of what happened last year. Though this was already assumed to, so we have a plan. Mitsuru-san orders the driver to park nearby. However, this poses an unexpected problem. Our vehicle is a long black 8-door limousine. It'll still stand out in the countryside town no matter where it's parked.
Mitsuru-san, our activities are supposed to be undercover, correct?
Yes.
For undercover missions, it will be necessary to keep all personnel and vehicles from being noticed.
Right.
Mitsuru-san, may I say something that I've been meaning to say for a while now?
No.
Understood.
All I told them was to give us a car with enough space.
Wherever we go, people peer into the windows out of curiosity. We avoid the public eye as much as possible and finally park in what looks like a site for vehicle disposal on the outskirts of the town.
Our contact has arrived.
I then notice a middle-aged man in a gray suit standing outside the window. I actually kind of know this. I'm not sure of I recognize his face. He is one of the 3 collaborators Mitsuru-san contacted before our departure. I scoot over the door and open the window.
My. This was not our designated meeting area, yet he has discovered us.
Suddenly, something not unlike exasperation or disappointment appears on his face.
You want to know how I did it?
A cough interrupts
We
us.
appreciate your cooperation, Detective Kurosawa.
Mitsuru-san gets out of the vehicle and slightly bows. 3 years ago, when we were still fighting shadows in secret, Detective Kurosawa worked as a police officer at a nearby police box. He believed that our intentions were good and supplied us with certain conveniences under the table. His job made this risky, but he always acted on behalf of what he believed to be just. He said this many times while supporting us in secret. He is a strong man, one who always acts on his belief. But now our organization has official government sanction. He can now cooperate with us without being considered a descendant. In fact, now that Kurosawa's prior actions are justified, he's been promoted for his expertise. I have heard that he is now a plainclothes detective working at the Central Precinct.
Long time no see, miss. And Aegis, was it?
Indeed. It has been a while.
Kurosawa-san fixes his eyes on Mitsuru-san and me. It is faintly awkward. We are both dressed for combat, and I am not wearing any clothes to cover my true form.
Sorry for staring. A humanoid weapon. I was skeptical when I heard, but seeing you in person doesn't leave any room for doubt.
I'm sorry that I kept it hidden back then.
It's alright. It would have caused more of a headache if you'd gone around looking like that.
Hearing him say that, I cannot help but smile.
Seeing you laugh like that makes it harder to believe you're a machine.
I shouldn't make you stand while we talk. Please, get in.
Sorry. I haven't seen you in a while, so I had a lot to say.
Mr. asked Kurosawa-san to collect information on the serial murder case that occurred in this town last year. When background investigations were carried out across Japan at the end of 2011, this region showed high readings of shadow activity. But although it was investigated, there were no effects apart from slightly unnatural weather. Then again, what if something happened that was just too hard to detect? Mitsuru-san suspects that the serial murder case was related to these shadows and asked Kurosawa-san to have the local police force share their reports. We could have requested them directly, but what we wanted would not be the surface information found in the investigation records. There are limits to what an unofficial unit cloaked by authority can do with a direct request.
I found out quite a bit regarding the case you had me look into. First, I reviewed the report on the incidents from last year.
Yeah, we know
The
this.
suspects mentioned the word persona.
I locked gazes with
So
Mitsuru-san.
what went on here last year?
It's probably related, but I wasn't done there. Parts of this guy's testimony were even more outlandish. If you can take what's in the record at face value, it seems persona users can enter TVs within the Inaba region.
Enter TVs? What does that mean?
Just what it sounds like. You physically stick your body into the screen and go inside. He claimed there was another world in the TV, and dropping people inside it was the method behind last year's murders.
This all sounds rather absurd. I'm surprised it was included in the police report.
I got in touch with the detective in charge at the time and said the same thing. Apparently the report was filed by a young partner of his at the time. He'd entertained the wildest testimonies like this one.
He sounds like quite the oddball.
If this was what really went on, the police would have had no chance cracking it. But that Detective Dojima is one shrewd guy. Even with all the supernatural hocus-pocus surrounding the case, he caught the culprit.
Kurosawa-san sighs. He seems to be tired.
That's all I have for you right now. I should be going. I doubt either of us has time to reminisce over the old days. It's funny though. I thought the fighting was over, but you guys surprise me every time I see you.
Thank you very much, Officer Kurosawa. Why don't we at least see you off?
Oh, that's all right. I've got my own car. I doubt my department would appreciate your tastes. If I ever showed up for work in something like this, I'd be the talk of the force until the day I retired.
He opens the door and exits the vehicle. He gives a short farewell and leaves without turning back.
Mitsuru-san, this could be bad. Our sense of social aptitude is in question.
Can't deny that.
What should we do now?
Yes. First, we'll need to test the claim that persona users can enter TVs.
Hearing this makes me realize something. Though I had called it in a vehicle disposal site, looking around I can now see there are also household electronics, like refrigerators, discarded here as well. In a corner is a stack of
There is a
TVs.
discarded TV over there. If the environment does not matter, we can use it to test the phenomenon.
I voluntarily get out of the vehicle.
Wait, I guess.
Don't worry. I'm just going to touch it.
I extended my right hand and touched the screen of the biggest TV I can see. My fingers brush the glass screen, but although I seem to be touching it, I feel no resistance from its surface. I push my hand forward a little more. A weak light runs across the screen, and my forearm sinks into it.
Amazing.
Rings of light spread from the contact of my arm, rippling like water across a pond.
Interesting. It's exactly as the police report said. What's it like inside? Do you feel anything?
Not particularly. No. Wait a moment.
My sensor detects a sensation I've never felt before, but the knowledge of what it is has already been recorded within me.
It's the same as mine. It's hard to say definitively since this is my first encounter with it, but I believe this reading is from a personality module.
Does that mean our retrieval target is inside the TV?
Huh. Sounds like fun.
I hear a voice come from an unexpected direction. Mitsuru-san and I look towards it. What we see is a silhouette wearing a low hood that covers his eyes and a tattered cape. It billows in the wind, looking just like a character in a Western movie. He is standing atop a mountain of trash, his arms crossed.
Akihiko?
He jumps down nimbly and walks
You
towards
didn't
us.
show up at the rendezvous point, so I went looking and found you here. This whole TV thing is pretty interesting.
I would never forget the man laughing so fiercely. Like Mitsuru-san said, he is a friend I once fought alongside, Akihiko Sanada. He was a student boxing champion in his school days and a staunch ally, powerful even without his persona. He is also our second collaborator on this case.
It's been a while, Akihiko-san.
Yeah, good seeing you.
Akihiko, what on earth are you wearing? Just what were you doing overseas?
Didn't I tell you that I was on a training expedition?
My guy is ripped.
Tell me you came here from the airport like that. Does the concept of keeping a low profile mean nothing to you?
Mitsuru-san, I believe we have lost the right to complain about that.
Mitsuru-san sighs in annoyance. Oh yes, Akihiko-san was on a training expedition overseas until this morning. As a result, his appearance is very different from the last time I saw him. But his aggressive personality and love of a challenge seem to be the same as always. He gives a cocky smile and smacks his palm with his fist.
We can get inside from that TV, right? And what are we waiting for?
Still the same Akihiko. We don't know the situation inside yet, and we'll need a secure means of getting out.
So what? If we want to get this Labrys back, someone has to go inside, right?
Well, that's...
Our target hijacked a plane to throw her into a TV in this town. If we sit on our hands, it's possible we'll be put in serious danger.
Akihiko-san steps towards Mitsuru-san as if pressing
We're
her.
different from how we used to be. We made the choice to fight shadows as professionals. That's why I traveled around the world and trained harder than ever. And now that something's actually come up, you're hesitating? We agreed to do this. I'm ready to stake my life on the mission.
Akihiko-san's opinion is a bit strong, but he is not incorrect. It could be Akihiko-san's understands that being slightly forceful is his role, because Mitsuru-san takes caution seriously. As the ultimate authority in this case, she frequently second-guesses herself. But I have seen Akihiko-san's words cut through her hesitation in the past. It shows his trust in Mitsuru-san not to make decisions in error.
All right. Wait right here. I need to go make a phone call first.
Okay, but make it quick.
And there we go. But Tam.
I am surrounded by a white light that strains most of my sensors to their limits. A portion of my sensors indicate that I am currently in a state similar to freefall. I can't tell up and down from left and right. This continues for a while. Eventually, my functions slowly recover. I find myself inside an unknown room, sitting on the ground. I quickly stand and check my surroundings.
Is this the music room of a school?
I can see a music stand, a grand piano, a blackboard, and portraits. There is an air of over-exaggerated theatrics to it, but I may not be far from the truth. Is this the world inside the TV? After the surreality of entering a TV screen, this comes as quite a surprise.
No sign of Mitsuru-san or Akihiko-san. Did they land elsewhere?
I sometimes have a really hard time reading as well.
So much noise. I can't contact anyone like this.
I tend to use my communicator, but there is no response. This looks like an ordinary classroom, but it has an alarming amount of radio interference. When I concentrate my senses again, I detect a bizarre disturbance from the entire area that is unlike normal buildings. This may be another world after all. In any case, I must join up with Mitsuru-san and Akihiko-san. But just as I begin to make plans to do so, the monitor hanging from the ceiling switches on. What appears on it is... how to describe it? A bizarre figure that looks like a living costume.
Unexpected! Unexpected! Unexpected!
Its comical tone does not last long before the voice becomes distorted and the image disappears. It reminds me of a malfunctioning machine. I stared at the monitor. I have a hunch that it will return soon. Just as I thought, the costume reappears. But its behavior is very different now.
04, unintended intruder. Entering elimination process.
Its mechanical sounding voice is completely different from the joking tone it had before. And that phrase, elimination process. It seems that a battle will be starting. I released the safeties from the weapons built into my body. That's when a large noise comes from behind me. A young man in a school uniform comes rolling in with a yell.
Don't tell me I'm gonna face off Kanji first.
A human?
Ow! Jeez, decided to open right then. This makes no damn sense.
I thought that I was ready for any eventuality, but I had not expected to suddenly encounter a human.
You all right? You seem to be unharmed.
The young man looks back at me with a steely gaze while fixing his bleached hair with his fingers. His behavior does not seem to be that of one who came in pursuit of me.
Never seen you before.
I'm sorry, I haven't introduced myself. My name is Aegis.
Only then I do remember that my appearance would seem very peculiar to a casual observer.
I'm a transfer student. I have blue eyes, blonde hair, Gatling cannon.
Huh?
I'm sorry, forget what I said. In the past, that prepared explanation for students has been effective, but no longer.
I have Gatling guns. I have homing missiles implemented in me. I have nuclear codes within me.
Kanji's like, what the fuck is going on?
Okay. Anyways, I'm Kanji Tatsumi. This mean you're my next opponent?
Opponent? What do you mean?
What do I mean? I'm talking about a scrap!
You mean a fight? But we have only met Tatsumi-san. Actually, where are we?
Enough blabbering, you machine!
With a yell, he slams the folding chair in his hand on the ground. A cold, dull, metallic sound echoes and eliminates any possibility for taking his talking his own.
Calling me by my name.
I go quiet. A fake girl. I understand how I might elicit such a reaction, but there is a pain in my chest, though I cannot help but smile as how instinctively I react that way. It seems I have become more human-like than I knew.
I might have to go up against my senpai, but I ain't gonna hold back against a robot like you.
Thinking with a calm mind, I noticed a small incongruity in his attitude. When he first saw me, he seemed unsure and claimed that he had not seen me before. Yet though he knows now that I am a machine, he doesn't seem particularly surprised. Aren't those two things contradictory? I focus my senses once more and enhance the gain of my sensors. I detect a faint interference because it had appeared uniformly across all my sensors. I hadn't been aware of it. What is this?
Do anything, I'll make the first move. Take Mikazuchi!
A persona?
Light flickers immediately. Could that be electricity? I think a thick barrel-like arm charged with voltage approaches from above. I jump back and narrowly escape a crushing blow.
Nice dodge. Looks like you got at least a little bit of fight in you.
A persona user. I was careless. I should have expected that possibility since I encountered him inside the TV. I do not know the procedure for attacking a human, but if he's a persona user, I must defend myself with the usual armaments.
There's no avoiding this fight. I cannot fall here.
I'm excited to play, I guess. Alright. So I guess it's very zony. It's very zoning. And RC that could give me an advantage against our fellow Kanji. She's so unfair. And here we go. Kanji with his fucking grabs. Fucking hell. Damn it. This is how much I hate Kanji. Kanji knows where the fuck to use his grabs. and this is hard difficulty. I'm playing this on hard just to give myself a challenge, but going up against Kanji when he spams the fucking grab is annoying. Ah, crying out loud. Uh-oh. For crying out loud. I was gonna dodge. I'm telling you, fucking Kanji, dude. He's so annoying. He's so annoying to face. Oh my god. Fucking hell, Kanji. You're a goofball, but you're annoying in this game as an AI. Damn it. He's already, look how many health he's already chunked me off. And he goes for a fucking combo. This is bullshit. This is so BS. Kanji, for fuck's sake. I can't get too close to him. That's my play here. Look at that, dude. And I guess it's no different. Damn it. Stop for crying out loud. Damn it. Nope. Nope. Oh my god. Oh my god. I saved myself from the change. Oh my god, that's so I can tell you. I like the escape change combo.
Are you alright, Tatsumi-san?
I helped Tatsumi-san up off the ground and called to him. After repeating myself several times, I hear a groan.
Damn it! Ow!
He's got bullet holes.
Whoa! Whoa! Hands off!
I'm sorry. If you can't stand, then I'll carry you.
I pick up Tatsumi-san, who is still lying down with both arms.
Damn. You're a hell of a lot stronger than you look. Whoa, 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 whoa! How come you're carrying me like this? Like a bride or something?
This is the spousal method of carrying.
No, it ain't. It's the bridal. Oh, wait a sec. Are they pretty much the same thing?
Yeah, they're pretty much the same thing, Kanji.
Tatsumi-san, you seem completely fine.
That's what I've been saying. And stop with the Tatsumi-san crap. It's making my skin crawl. Just call me Kanji.
You don't object to being called that? I'm an artificial person, after all.
Huh? Who cares? If I say it's fine, then it's fine. And will you put me down already?
When I put Kanji-san down as a request, he turns his back and repeatedly scratches his head. I feel as if his demeanor has changed compared to how it was before the fight. His loud voice and rough words are the same, but the sense that he will not listen to a word I say is gone. I feel that I can make myself understood
Well
now.
then, Kanji-san, allow me to ask again. Where are we? And what did you mean by opponent?
Huh? You're not an enemy that Ted set up for me?
Ted. Are you referring to the bear who appeared on the monitor?
This is a fighting tournament. Only the winners get to keep going. I lost this time. But oh well. I wouldn't make it in the big leagues.
That sounds like something Akihiko-san would say.
Huh?
Sorry, I was just talking to myself.
Gotta say, you packed one hell of a punch. Got me real good.
Punch? But I didn't throw any punches.
Listen though, the rest of this tournament ain't gonna be so easy. My senpai are waiting up ahead.
There are more people here. Could you estimate how many?
Kanji-san smiles dauntlessly and gives me a thumbs up. I don't really understand why, but I give him a thumbs up as well. Good job. The Kanji-san keels over. I rush in to catch him. When I look into his face, he's still smirking, but has passed out. It seems he was fighting through his fatigue for the sake of his pride. He doesn't seem injured, so I carefully set him back down on the floor. Suddenly, that costume, Kanji-san called it Ted, appears again on the monitor.
Intruders are persona users. Due to difficulties in elimination, they will be acknowledged as valid targets.
It's using the mechanical tone of a voice again. The intruders must be me and the others. Since I won't be easy to eliminate, it appears that he's changing tactics. But what could he mean by valid targets? The monitor screen turns off once again. Just like before, it flickers back on after a few seconds. It's the same face as before, but a complete different attitude.
What a fox! Came to join in on our fun? I'm A-okay with that if you're up for a little fighting. I'll wait for you in the next arena up ahead.
This is more how he sounded at the beginning. He's gone back to normal, or at least recovered from the abnormality.
Oh, silly me. If you're cutting in, you don't know who I am. Ahem. I am General Teddy. Remember that name well.
General Teddy. Apparently, he really is a teddy bear. He doesn't seem like one, but a number of things he said caught my attention. Joining in on our fun and arena. These are in line with the tournament Kanji-san mentioned. Is this tournament being held here? But the monitor is silent once again and does not return. How do not think I will make any progress if I remain here? I'll poke my head through the door where Kanji-san appeared to check my surroundings. What looks like a school hallway leads straight ahead. There appears to be no danger nearby. I managed to hoist Kanji-san's body over my shoulder and try to leave the room.
What?
Something gets stuck and prevents me from proceeding. I stop and check, but I cannot see any obstructions. Both of the sliding doors fell off when Kanji-san came in, and the way is completely open. It should be wide enough for me to pass through easily, even with a person over my shoulder. Yet I cannot proceed. Something is getting stuck. I slow my walking speed and check to see what part of me is getting caught. That is how I discover something surprising. Nothing is blocking the way, yet only Kanji-san bodies cannot pass through the door. It seems that there is an invisible wall, one that is selective and prevents only Kanji-san's passage between the door and the hallway. Something Kanji-san said comes back to me. Only the winners gets to keep going. Is this what he meant? I increase the sensitivity of my various sensors, but I cannot detect any walls here. I have no way of destroying what cannot touch, which means I have no choice but to leave Kanji-san here.
Oh well. I will come back for you later. Please stay safe until then.
Once he comes around, he is still a persona user. It's not as if I'm leaving someone behind who can't fend for himself. I reluctantly convince myself to move on.
Alright, let's see who we've going up against.
While moving down the hallway, my sensors continue to pick up disturbances from everything in the school. It all looks so normal though. There's a line of glass windows on the wall. Outside is a field level with the ground I am walking on. I seem to be on the first floor of the building. Eventually, I reach a doorway and cautiously venture outside. There is barely any difference in temperature or atmospheric composition compared to the real world, but the lack of wind is unnatural, and there are other discrepancies between here and there. I turn around and inspect the building's interior. This is indeed a school. I walk along the wall and go around the building. Soon I reach what seems to be the main gate. I turn towards the school building once again and come to a realization.
I recognize this place.
I have seen photo from this angle in the preparation materials. As I recall, this is a high school in Inaba. To make sure, I step past the school gate and check the nameplate. The name engraved on the gate's pillar is Yasugami High School. I cross-reference the name with a map on the area and find a match. This is confusing. A real-world location has been completely recreated inside the TV. Why is it structured like nesting boxes? Just then, I sense something moving in the corner of my vision. I quickly turn to view it head on. It is a uniformed girl. She is running straight through the opposite direction of the field. Is she a student? No, this is not a real school. Could she be one of the senpai Kanji-san spoke of? But a moment's thought highlights an important detail. Her pale skin and hair color. There can be no mistake. It's the girl I saw for a moment at the airport after the hijacking. I immediately chased after her, but the girl is much faster than I anticipated and cannot close the distance. I realize a portion of my foot speed limiters are finally getting close, until I am able to grasp her right arm from behind. The girl stops and turns around. There is a surprise on her face, and she stares in wide-eyed wonder at my form. Though I am surprised myself. The instant I take her hand, a flash of intuition charges through me like electricity. This girl is Labris. I am unaccountably convinced.
Who are you? That's one funny-looking costume you've got on.
Oh, well,
Oh, of course. You're mixed up in this racket too, aren't you?
Racket? Does she mean the tournament?
No, I am not in this tournament of my own free will.
Really? Then you mind letting me go? I'm the student council president. I can't be letting people run wild at this school.
Student council president?
Didn't I tell you to let me go? Are you trying to get in the way of my work here?
The girl looks at me with an irritated expression. How strange. She speaks as she really is leading an ordinary life here at school. If she was aware that she was inside the TV, she would say such things to me.
If you happen to know, could you please tell me what sort of place this is?
Huh? It's the first floor of the classroom building. Can't you tell?
Huh? Is it possible that you don't recall entering a TV?
A TV? Listen, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm kind of in a hurry here.
Before you do, please tell me something. Who are you?
Who? What'd you stop me for if you didn't even know? I just told you. I'm the student council president. What hole have you been hiding in? The elections were just last week.
What's your name,
Are
though?
we done now? Because I got places to be.
The girl ends the conversation sternly, shakes off my hand, and runs away again. In an instant, she has disappeared into the school building.
Please, wait!
I go after her, but just as I enter the hallway and round the first bend, something blocks my path. But I can't see what it is at all. I can't see it, yet when I reach out my hand, I can feel it. I think I know what this is.
That wall again!
The visible wall that prevented Kanji-san's passage is more likely the same thing. Once again, I am surprised. I can't touch it, but yet my sensors detect nothing. And it's much stronger than I had imagined. It repels even gunfire. Physical strikes are nothing. I attempt various methods to destroy it, but before I can, the girl disappears from view.
It seems I am forced to try a different route.
I considered the situation once more. Was that the girl truly Labrys? There are too many factors now indicating otherwise. Her appearance and the feel of her arm when I grasped it a moment ago, both are strong signs that she is human. If she is entirely artificial, then she could not be part of an older generation of models than myself. Her speaking voice and behavior were both also indicative of known human patterns. According to the records of Labrys' development, she was sealed away soon after. Even I stumble with natural human speech. She could not have become that proficient in so short of time. She's not a machine but a human, so she cannot be Labrys. Usually I would not hesitate to make such a judgment based on the available data. Yet I still cannot shake the feeling that she may be the Labrys. That intuition I felt earlier, what caused it? This case remains murky. I feel as if my senses are being muffled by a thin cloth. But I cannot leave her be. Even if she is not Labrys, the fact itself means she's in danger. I quickly look at for an alternative route.
She goes back outside, right? Let's figure that out. Yeah, she goes back outside.
I backtrack the way I came and run outside. Suddenly, I am enveloped in a tidal wave of sound. These are human voices. The cheering comes from an enormous crowd. I turn around and a thick mass of people run towards me out of nowhere. There are boys and girls in school uniforms. It is clear that everyone is looking at me.
This is impossible.
How did I fail to detect so many humans? But then I noticed it. There is white noise running through all my sensors. It is the same feeling that I had before finding Kanji-san. What is this? As I stand in thought, the students close in on me. I ask what business they have with me, but the uproar drowns out my voice. I cannot attack them, so I have no choice but to edge backwards. Soon my back is against a wall. I look around for an escape route. Luckily, there was a door beside me. I hurry inside to find shelter.
Oh, the gym.
The room I have entered appears to be spacious. It is dark here, but I believe it is a gymnasium. Here and there, folding chairs and gym equipment are piled in heaps. It looks like the result of some strange ritual. Suddenly, a light shines in the corner. Upon closer inspections, I can see a monitor showing something. It is airing some familiar faces.
Weird that it's happening now.
I am not sure what to say about that video. It seems to be modeled after promotional videos for martial arts tournaments. I notice appearance by Kanji-san and the host General Teddy. The other people shown must also be participants. It is safe to assume they are all Persona users. As if watching my reaction from somewhere, General Teddy appears on the monitor, replacing the video.
Looks like you're officially getting in on the action. Welcome. Look, everyone, another challenger.
Without warning, there is a loud sound. The doors in every direction open at once. Excited students pour in, cheering and yelling. Before I know it, I am surrounded by people with no means of escape. General Teddy grins at my situation and raises his stubby arm.
Bring out the next opponent.
A spotlight shines on spot where the crowd parts. A female student can be seen. She has short hair and wears a jacket. She looks very athletic.
So it's Chie.
I recognize her face from the video. Her name was Chie Satonaka. She steps in front of me, bouncing from foot to foot.
I heard that you're elbowing in on the tournament. Suits me fine. Let's do this.
As she finishes her speech, she takes a firing stance. Just then, a gleaming silhouette appears behind her. It is another persona. Chie-san extends her arm, extends her hand, palm facing up, and motions with her fingers, taunting me.
Ooh, she's ready and raring to go.
This is strange. Chie-san's willingness to fight is odd enough, but even stranger are the students in the crowd. Even when seeing a persona up close, they show no sign of alarm. Come to think of it, how did they get here? I cannot believe that they are all persona users. But even if they were, would they be so excited over such brutality? While stuck in a mysterious world filled with potential dangers? That does not seem likely. Perhaps my basic assumptions are faulty. Could they, like this buildings, be unreal? I cannot jump to conclusions, but I decide to take the offensive. I turn to the monitor. General Teddy is bouncing up and down gleefully.
I will fight on one condition.
Which is?
Interesting. He answered me. I can hold a conversation with him, which means he can see and hear
That
me.
you immediately release all these students from this school, or rather from this world. If you do that, I will fight as you wish.
Tut tut! Are you making demands to me? Before you get too worried about other people, why not worry about yourself?
I will not fight unless you guarantee their safety.
I glare at General Teddy through the monitor. I didn't want to involve the students, but I have an idea.
What a stubborn girl!
He snaps his stubby fingers. The room instantly fills with light.
Wait, seriously?
I ward myself against it by covering my eyes. A few seconds later, the brightness fades to normal as my eyes adjust. I see the students have vanished.
Is that what you wanted?
The general smiles proudly. My guess was correct. If the students were fake, it is easier for him to remove them than to talk me into fighting. As a result, my sensors detect the movement with the students disappear all at once. The only human here is Chie-san. Looking around, it seems that not everything disappeared. Human-like figures remain as if the shadows of the students were burned into the scenery. There were several about the gymnasium. Their readings are similar to shadows, but they show no sign of hostility. So these are the true forms of those students. They have been unmasked.
You're in no position to be making demands, you know. I'm making an exception just this once, because it's no fun if you don't both go at it tooth and claw. Even if you don't resist, your opponent will show no mercy. It'll be a grisly sight.
come on. Even if the crowd was still here, would you not have hit back when I hit you?
No. The safety of the people must be prioritized above all else.
Ha! That's pretty cool of you, actually. But self-sacrifice doesn't mean much coming from a machine. They can just fix you right up. Oh, that's right. It doesn't even count as self-sacrifice for a machine. It's just what you're programmed to do. You probably don't feel pain or anything, huh? It just seemed that way because you look human.
You may not understand, but I can sense pain as well.
Really? That's such a weird thing to program into a weapon. Doesn't make any sense to me.
That's...
As I struggle to answer, Chie-san smiles
Well,
wide.
that's fine with me. Means I can fight you without pulling any punches.
Her smile disappears and her eyes spark with fire as she launches herself at me. I would rather not fight her, but she is a persona user. I clench my teeth and make myself ready to intercept
If
her.
I must fight you, then I will.
Alright, Jay, you're going down. I'll show you my true projectile self. Be ready.
Final.
Damn. Damn. Could you take it easy, TA? No. Gotta be careful. Ooh, that's close. Almost died. So aggressive and hard. Literally. Yeah, there we have it. So yeah. So yeah, basically I guess I like how it's like what they said when, like in other ones that you know you can weaken someone's heart, but I feel like I guess it's like I think she's like the more purest, and I've heard that bring up again how she has doubts. I really have like, would she really be that in the situation? Is she that? I'm not gonna say weak, but I think that her experiences she had in the past and her experience she learned to be, you know, poked that way. I feel like Igus would still be like strong. Like, so what? I am a machine and I can't neglect that. After all, that's what she learned because she's a machine. But she acts way more human than anybody else. But yeah, let's continue on.